Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Just
Good.
gonna wait another minute or two, see who's gonna jump in, who's not gonna jump in. As usual, you got some people that are fashionably late, and then we'll start. Okay, guys, I think we're gonna start. I think whoever is here is here. Again, welcome everybody to our official AMA for Steam Exchange. I'm Gary. I'm the CEO. I think we're gonna go ahead and hand it over to Neville for operations for your first update. Neville, go ahead.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining the AMA. Happy to have you guys here. So for my section, we're going to split it up into two sections. So the first section, we're going to talk a little bit about the finalized tokenomics. So there's a lot of concern around, we're doing a relaunch and, we have a lot of existing holders. What are we doing to make it fair for everybody? So we've come across and worked hard on it, worked with a marketing expert, worked with other groups, other devs, and we came up with the best tokenomics we could think of to make it fair for everybody. So with that said, here it is. So the total supply, we're going to keep it at 100 billion. The fees, it changed just a little bit. We just switched two of the digits. We're going to do 4% to the platform wallet for the ongoing development of the platform. 3% to the marketing wallet to do continuous marketing after we launch. 2% is going to be reflected to holders, and 4% is going to be added to the LP. So originally we were saying there's going to be no pre-sale, but after doing some research and after putting a lot into consideration, we decided there will be a pre-sale. And details on on how to earn a spot for that pre-sale is going to come. So the way we're doing it is there's going to be whitelist rounds in the pre-sale, and to earn those, again, the details on that's going to come later on in this conversation. For the contest that we were doing on Sweep Widget. So there was a lot of participation, but not enough to really help the overall effort. So we're going to be canceling that contest and we're going to replace it with a new one. So thank you for everyone that did take part, and as a reward for putting in the time and effort, we've actually selected 4 winners to share 500 US dollars. So those winners are, if you're ready, so Scott underscore R10, Nikita, Ish00, Jarl Linston. You guys are all winners. So I'll reach out to you guys individually on what your prizes are, and we will go from there. The last thing for me is the launch date. So everyone keeps saying when launch, when launch, when launch. That launch date is going to be announced very soon. So stay tuned, and we will be announcing that shortly. So that's it for the housekeeping operations and the token launch. I'm going to hand it over to Enki, who is our marketing expert, and he can take it from here.
Hey, thanks, Neville. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. Good evening, based on where you're listening in from. Whether you're listening to us live or sort of via the recording shortly, Thank you for being here and for being part of our community, first off. So I just want to take a quick second to say thank you to Neville, Gary, Chris, Pete, and the rest of the team for actually looping me in and allowing me to be part of this monumental project. So just in terms of an introduction, and to share a little bit more about my expertise, I currently operate and help manage a few e-commerce websites and have extensive experience in digital and traditional forms of marketing. So my background actually stems from more of a business consultancy and digital marketing role. When my previous position, I worked for a Fortune 500 company and was based out in Asia. So my team and I were actually responsible for hyper-local campaigns across 21 different brands for all of Asia Pacific. I have recently actually moved to Canada, and through my past experience, have been fortunate to live, work, and go through education on sort of multiple different countries and different continents. Not to boast at all, but I believe that that exposure and those connections have allowed me to be a global citizen in some way, and I can resonate with individuals from different upbringings and cultures, which at the end of the day, I use towards my marketing messaging and targeting. Um, so, you know, guys, essentially our BSC space, with it being so fast paced and with so much going on, it's very easy at times to not recognize a credible project when it appears, right? Once every blue moon. And I mean that with no exaggeration. It's important to highlight that this is not solely an idea, not just a concept. This is a project that will result in a robust and thoroughly well thought out exchange. It's a known fact that the team has been hard at work behind the scenes for more than 6 months. They've been working closely with strategic partners, peers, and financial professionals to ensure that everything is being done with absolute compliancy and with our end user in mind. This is a proper business entity and a corporation that we are part of. This is not a meme coin. They have been on a mission to cross deadlines and essentially get our final product out as soon as reasonably possible. It is also important to reiterate that we've completed stage one, which was building our functional concept exchange, and are on track to complete stage two shortly. I would like to ask, or essentially raise the question, how many projects out there work with such diligence? We are almost, again, 2/3 of the way there, guys. Mark my words, 2/3 of the way there, and are now in a position to enable early investors and people who can essentially see the vision with us to be a part of our journey. This trickles over to real world investors as well, right? Crypto savvy and those that are not so crypto savvy. A smart investor senses opportunity when he sees it, he or she sees it, sorry, and that's where and that's why we are actively targeting individuals outside of the BSC space as well. I'm not sure how many of you saw Neville's comment the other day on our group, but we are one of 15 global enterprises that are allowed to work with Google for cryptocurrency focused advertising. That is major, guys. We have already structured different campaigns across varying media types to allow us to be present and in front of these audiences. We've also set up our website to act as our base landing page to drive traffic to, and are actively collecting all relevant data for us to use as we grow. I'm not sure, again, how many of you guys have noticed or visited our website recently, but we've made a few tweaks and have also set up a chatbot, which essentially helps bridge the gap between our Telegram community and the outside world. We have a fantastic team of admins and mods that are working tirelessly to help support you and provide as accurate of a response as we essentially can, right? Most recently, our story was covered by Yahoo Finance, Canadian Insider, and a few other notable names. I want to bring this to our attention that we are being watched closely by some big players and are currently set up to make a big real world impact in this space. If you haven't already had the chance to go through that article, I would urge you to go. Please find it. It's on our TG chat. Share it with your friends and family, and just get a sort of better understanding of where we are. We are also currently working on setting up our media content base across multiple platforms. We want to be essentially everywhere someone sort of looks for us or sees us, right? We are building out our content and we'll be releasing information constantly over the next few weeks. Please keep an eye out and join our community across those different platforms as well, as essentially it helps us scale. We have some other strategic initiatives planned, and would love to share more details on those as developments unfold. We are also currently actively engaging with a select few influencers and credible individuals in the BSC space. We also plan on doing multiple AMAs across varying communities to share our platform and the Steam Exchange messaging shortly. From day one, the core team, has had a completely transparent and open door policy, right? And I urge our community, I urge all of you to use this to your advantage. If you have any recommendations, questions, suggestions, constructive criticism, or any sort of other avenues where you are present and believe it would be valuable for us to share our Steam Exchange messaging there, please do reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and essentially that could help us accelerate our growth as well. So with all of that being said, thank you all so much for your time. Thank you for your support. I look forward to continue driving our marketing efforts. And at this point, we'll hand it over to Chris for an update on infrastructure. Thank you all.
Thanks, Eki. Great words. And good afternoon, everyone. Or like I said, good evening, good morning, depending where you are in the world. Hope everyone is doing great on this fantastic Sunday. So for those who don't know me by now, and I do see some new faces or new names in the chat, my name is Chris Beckford. I am the head of infrastructure at Steam Exchange. And over the past few months, I've been working extremely closely with our development team on the exchange, and will continue to do so, into stage 3 and well beyond. So we're fastly approaching the last leg of stage 2 development sprint, and we're very much on track to complete all of this by the 31st of August. This last mile, where we currently are in the project plan, is the most critical junction, as it involves our major integration with our upgraded KYC platform. Let's call it 2.0, which is essentially going to allow our end users to kind of onboard into our platform very seamlessly, along with some other critical functionality in the back end, which will be privy, and we'll open up the doors to those once we segue into our stage 3 roadmap. Now, as we discussed on our last AMA, we're continuing to work very diligently in our UAT environment with our acceptance testing to help ensure that the overall user experience, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about our user experience and making this a very seamless and easy platform to navigate and learn. And we're working very diligently in the background. And our goal is just to make it life easier for everyone, right? And we've gotten a lot of great feedback, and we continue to get great feedback, and we definitely encourage, right? Because through feedback, we'll continue to drive continuous improvement, and our goal is to be the best, right? So without you guys, we definitely won't be in the best position possible. So we encourage your continuous feedback, and we'll continue to put things down for future consideration, and some things have already been put on the docket for implementation. So that's good stuff. Now, segueing into stage 3, I won't touch base too much on that, but you will be presented with a complete redesign, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, and more advanced functionality. Now, in terms of catering to the overall user experience and understanding, again, that will continue to be our number one goal. Through this here, we will continue to have the additional functionality built out to kind of keep us fully aligned to that. For stage 3, our scoping has started, and you guys might have seen Neville's update earlier in the week regarding to our LinkedIn posting, which will essentially facilitate the onboarding of our full stack developers, right? Upon onboarding, once we do have those developers working here with us, then we'll continue to drill down the requirements. And with that being said, once we have those requirements on the table, that is when we can officially release the stage 3 roadmap. And just based on where we are from an overall timeline perspective, right now that's currently on track to be released by the 18th of September for the updated roadmap. In conjunction with our lead developers, you might recall a couple of weeks back that we did talk about partnering with our major universities out there. We've had a lot of great discussions. With that being said, we have officially, as of the 15th of August, we've officially partnered with the University of Waterloo. They are known as a very top university in Canada that produce some of the best developers out there. And again, sound like a broken record, but I might have noticed before too. But Vitalik, the owner of Ethereum, actually went to school at Waterloo and has definitely set the bar high for their students and the faculty and what is coming out of that program. So we're looking, we're definitely looking forward to continue to doing great work with the University of Waterloo, and continue on the path for delivery. All in all, I think our slogan says it right. I mean, full steam ahead, and there's no pun intended there, right? We're looking forward to continue to do great things and keeping each and every one of you fully informed as we progress. Right? Again, we're not in this position without you. So we definitely look forward to continuing to work very closely with our investors. Again, and it's all about continuous improvement and feedback and how we can get better. So we're looking forward to the next couple of weeks and months to come, and there's a lot of great things. With that being said, I will pass the mic over to Gary, our trusty CEO, and give you some more additional updates. Thank you, everyone, and have yourself a great day.
Thank you, Chris. So I'm gonna give you guys a general administrative kind of updates what we got done so far that are in fact indeed major milestones because of the amount of work they're required to achieve. So let's start off with the DUNS number. Not a lot of you guys know what that is. It's similar to a FICO score, but for business. So if you want to do business in North America or with government bodies or overseas, such as Europe, they all require you to have the DUNS number. It's a business credit reporting system that evaluates your business. Sorry, evaluates your business based on how you do and your history. It also allows you to lend, borrow, or transfer money. Many of you might not know this, but you actually are required to have this number in order to begin to even apply for the Apple Developer Program. Why is this important? Um, Anybody that signs up and pushes out an app as a person is personally not liable for anything that they do. However, if you have an organization, you are liable because there's a paper trail, paper track, whatever you may call it. You're being watched, monitored. You can't just push out anything that you'd like. So it has to be fully vetted. It determines your worthiness as a company, among many other things. Another thing that is a major milestone for us that we already have. Um, we recently finished the application for FinTrack. So I don't know if you guys know what FinTrack is. Uh, in essentially, what it is it prevents money laundering, terrorism financing. We also have the ability to report you if you suspect that you do something malicious. We are also obligated to report to the government at every milestone. So the milestones are essentially anytime you guys move more than 10 grand. So whether it be in or out, we have to report it to the government. It's 100% required for an exchange. It is also required for the uh, money service business license that it comes with. It's essentially the same license that banks have to get when they open up. Now, as you heard Chris say, our everything we have, so the iOS and the Android app are on schedule. They're currently under development. They are nearing completion. Once they are completed, we already have staff members that were selected from a pool of members that have an NDA. We've selected a select few members to do the testing on UI 2.0, and you guys can see it displayed on the screen. What you guys have seen before is stage one. Stage two is the nice golden one, and they are currently undergoing testing on it. This is not where we'll stop. We'll continue making it more user friendly than where it already is. But why I'm not going to say we didn't care, but we did. So in stage one, some people called it hideous, which I do kind of agree. It's not the best looking kind of thing, but we cared that the functionality of the work. So now we're going to move away and combine it with user interface aesthetics and whatnot. So the development is ongoing, and we'll update you guys. I'm hoping to have it ready for you guys by the next AMA for next weekend, so I can show you guys how everything works. Just working out a few minor bugs, and we'll go from there. So that's about it. for the milestones. So again, Duns number complete, FinTrack complete. Those are huge. Those take a lot of time and energy to do. Essentially, it goes all the way down to getting a criminal check. So the government has to vet you before they give you these licenses. Okay, guys. I think we're gonna go ahead and open up the floor for some questions if you guys have. So if the admins can start on unmuting people, please.
Great. So we're gonna start with you, bro. Anybody have questions? Just pop up your hand and we'll start unmuting you guys.
Hi guys, I'm very impressed with your presentation. You guys are very professional. I'll be willing to invest on this token very soon.
Thank
So
you
I
for
have
that.
a question.
Yeah.
What are you guys planning on doing with the previous orders with the first lunch?
Yeah, so for the existing holders, we took a snapshot on July 19th of their current holdings before we stopped the trading on the old token. We then announced that we're going to be relaunching. So if you're an existing holder, we will be airdropping you the new tokens during our relaunch.
Okay, so it'll be the same exact amount.
So the exact amount as of July 19th.
Okay, because before I think I heard you guys are gonna give us like additional tokens or some kind of reward for like being an order. Just double
So
checking. Just double checking.
yeah, so the benefit to the existing holders will be announced when we display our full tokenomics and our relaunch structure. We think it's pretty fair to the existing holders and the new holders that are going to be coming in. So stay tuned for that.
All right, thank you very much. That's all
Not
my
a problem.
question.
Anybody else have questions? Feel free to ask, guys. Everyone's unmuted, I'm pretty sure.
Please don't be shy.
Were there any written questions that came in, guys?
Yep, there were. We'll
Okay,
go through some
gotcha.
of those. All right.
Sure.
Well, let's keep the floor open for a little bit longer, then we'll get into some of those. Do we got to start picking people? I see Ish is here. You won the contest. You want to ask a question?
Guys, if you want to type it in the chat as well, type it in the chat and we can also address it that way.
Guys, yeah, please remember that these sort of AMAs, these informational sessions, are essentially for you guys, right? So if there are any burning questions, even then there are no stupid questions, right? Anything, just ask. Like I mentioned, we from day one have had a complete open door policy there where we're totally willing to converse with anyone. So don't be shy. Any questions? This is time for you guys to ask.
Keep in mind, questions, suggestions, anything like that, we can put on the table as well, right?
And also concerns. If there's any concerns with anything that's going on, then
Yeah.
also feel free to address those. Hattie asked a question in the chat. Thanks for the presentation. Can you talk about your blockchain and the new coin versus the old BEP20? Sure, we can touch on that a little bit. It's still in development. So the idea behind the native coin and the blockchain is that the BEP20 token is not available to trade on a centralized exchange with every token pair. So the native coin on our blockchain will help facilitate those trades. There are other functions and features of the blockchain that we'll get into as we develop stage 3. But for now, the important thing to note is that everyone that's holding Steam Exchange token between now and when we launch our platform with our native coin and token will be swapped for those coins at a better rate. So it's not going to be the same value you have, when we launch or when we finish the platform. It's going to be a larger number. So there's definitely incentive to hold and to wait for that to happen. Great question. Thank you so much for that one. So I guess while people are thinking of questions, we can start touching on the ones that came in. So there was one question that came in that said, let's start with a simple one. Where did the name Steam Exchange come from and what inspired it? with the nice background of the team members, do you know each other in real life? So let's turn to Gary for that one, since it's his idea for the name.
So, uh, in all honesty, my son really likes choo-choo trains. All right. The real answer. So, steam trains. I don't know if you guys how much history you guys know. Steam trains were the turn of the century. They were the icon for the turn of the century of the railroad. So, what comes after that? The big trains, the coal trains, and all of those trains came after that. So I guess what we're trying to portray is, for one, keep the saying alive, full steam ahead. There's still a meaning to it that everybody understands, no matter how old you are, right? You don't have to be as old as the train to understand it. And another way is, we're trying to flip the page on doing it the old-fashioned way. So everybody's going online to sign up. So okay, why isn't there a physical location? Let's make that the new standard. Let's make that the new gold standard. So if you can kind of see the metaphor here, we're taking something old, reviving it, and putting it back on a track. I hope that makes sense.
Thanks,
Devils, was it
Gary.
there?
Yeah, there's more questions that we have that we can answer. So I just want to open the floor back up to see if anyone has any more questions from this group. Still thinking? Not a problem. Let's move on to the next question from the chat then. So there was a question that said, where do you see your project in upcoming years, and how can Steam Exchange endure in bear condition market? So Steam Exchange is, as you know by now, a centralized cryptocurrency exchange, right? So in our current market, we have platforms and businesses that operate in a realm of like incompliancy. So what we're doing is we have a made from scratch benefit where we can build our platform to be compliant from the get go. Um, so when the time comes for our platform to launch in a space of uncertainty, you won't have the concern of, in 5 years, will Steam Exchange still be the platform of choice, right? You'll have the confidence knowing that, Steam Exchange is compliant, is regulated, and we will continue to be compliant throughout, the world with regulatory bodies around the world. So, bear market, bull market, it doesn't matter. You're still going to have crypto holdings, whether you're buying more, whether you're trading, or whether you're just holding. And Steam Exchange will be the place to be to make sure that your funds are secure and you have access to a platform for the rest of your life. That's our goal. Cool. So let's try again. Anyone have questions from the chat, from the voice chat?
There's one in the main chat if you want to check that out, Neville.
Oh, are you still going to wait until you reach 15K in Telegram before launching? Okay, so originally we set a milestone of 15,000 members in our Telegram before we launch. So the organic growth has been a little bit slow. We do want to ramp that up. Maybe 15,000 is not the target to reach. We have discussed other things such as quality over quantity. So there's, as Enki mentioned in his section, that there's multiple efforts that are coming into play. Some of those efforts are going into other communities who have invited us and do AMAs with them to continue spreading the word of Steam Exchange. And maybe you've heard of us, maybe you haven't heard of us, maybe you heard good things, maybe you heard bad things. We want to make streamline that messaging across the community, the BSC space, and outside the BSC space. So that's all coming. We will discuss a new milestone, obviously, because we can't launch with 635 members. There has to be some kind of baseline to encourage buy pressure and make sure that existing holders and new holders are both protected. So more information on that will come as we progress through these little initiatives that we're doing. And you'll see the benefit, right? So you'll see the impact of those efforts. But like I said before in the chat in the previous weeks and even up to this week, it is a group effort, right? So us as the core team, the admin team, Anki being our marketing expert, there's only so much we can do to deliver quality messaging and quality influencers, right? So beyond that, it's up to the community to get that message out, right? So if we're not saying to go to your brothers, sisters, mothers, grandmothers, but we are saying that if you're in groups that are interested in cryptocurrency, it's definitely worth mentioning to them, at the least, to at least listen to us and hear us out and learn more about the platform and what we're doing. Our platform is beyond a token launch, right? So that's something to keep in mind. This BSC launch is just one step towards the greatness we want to achieve, and you're seeing that unfold in the development of our platform. So stay tuned, spread the word. I know a lot of you guys have been a little bit inactive because you're waiting for more information about the launch, but now is the time to step in and help the effort, because essentially your holdings are and the benefit to you is determined by what happens when we launch and what happens after we launch. So let's keep that in mind as we progress. Good question. Thank you so much for that one.
You want to move to another question on the list there?
Sure. I'm just going through them because we touched on some of them during the AMA, so I just want to make sure I don't touch on it again. Right. So I mentioned this in our AMA about the relaunch and when it's going to happen. So that was another question that came in. It was asked very delicately, so I appreciate that. It said, I hate to ask this question, but since it's in everyone's mind, when will the highly anticipated launch be? So like I said, just a second ago, there's a lot of consideration going into place, right? Like we want to make sure that you guys, as existing holders, new investors, and anyone else coming into Steam Exchange after we launch, are protected. And in order to do that, we need to launch successfully, and we have to do it right. So before we can even consider a launch date, having Telegram members is one thing. That's not the only place where we're doing our marketing. So, as Anki mentioned, we have a lot of outside influence and a lot of eyes on our project that's not in the BSC space, that's in the real world, that's in stock exchanges, forex exchanges, and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of people counting on us to deliver. But at the same time, we also need to deliver. So we're going to relaunch and announce a launch date when we feel that everyone is protected and everyone has a benefit, right? And I mean, like I said, we can launch tomorrow, but what happens after that, right? If there's no longevity, then there's no point of relaunching, right? Immediately. So when that benefit comes, when that pressure comes, that's when we'll definitely do our relaunch, and it's coming. So I did mention we're going to be announcing that soon. We're just waiting for a couple of our marketing efforts to unfold during this week, and we'll gauge it and see how it goes during the week. And hopefully, we might announce something in our next AMA. Sorry. So that was also a good question that came into the chat earlier this week. So thank you for that one.
Well, we'll also be dropping something big on you guys next AMA. I'm
Correct.
just finishing the development. Just finishing the development of it this week, and then gonna blow you guys' mind next week.
I can tease it a little bit because we've said it before. So I'm not going
Okay,
to tease
all
it
right.
completely. So you can trust me.
Okay, 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 okay. You guys remember when Neville said all in one house?
There we go.
There you go.
So no matter what you need to do with your cryptocurrency, we want you to be able to do it in one house, secured and protected. So that's the drop that's coming next AMA. So stay tuned for that.
Just let that simmer, guys. Just like think that through. What does that really mean? Like anything your heart desires that you're gonna go do. So what can you not do on a centralized platform that you can do?
Question in the chat is sorry to interrupt you, Gary. Okay, Neville answered it.
Yeah, so the reason that we're doing this ad hoc AMA on a Sunday is because our last scheduled AMA, some real life things happened with the core team, so we weren't all available, and we definitely wanted to all be here for that. So we rescheduled it to today, but we're going to continue our schedule, our original schedule, and our next AMA will be on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Again, guys, please don't be shy. Any questions you have, um, go ahead. Feel free and ask them. No matter how silly they are, you never know who might be thinking the same thing.
Yo, what's going on?
Halo,
How
how
are
are
you?
you?
How are you guys? Everybody good?
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah.
good,
So
buddy.
Just been launching a few more servers to upkeep a few more coins that we're gonna be adding.
Okay, yo, I just want to touch base on the pre like the relaunch pre-sale what you guys were talking about. How much BNB are you trying to raise in the pre-sale?
Yeah, so all of that though will be announced as we progress, right? So we've decided on a structure. We're just not ready to announce that structure until we do some testing. So we did do some preliminary tests and it did work out. We're just waiting for other things to unfold before we officially announce that.
Cool. All right.
So
Thanks for your
yeah,
question.
we're hoping by next AMA to have the answer for you, like on paper, like on the website.
But you guys know me. I'd say I'm the least one who cares about that, but I'm sure everybody else probably
A very good
was thinking
question.
the same thing, you know. Just because that's like everybody's always questioning, is like how much BNB are you guys gonna start with on a launch and this and that.
Right on. Thanks for your question, man. So yeah, we'll definitely touch on that next week. Hopefully, we'll touch on it a little bit more at least. But we're hoping to also announce a launch date next week. So stay tuned. Hopefully things unfold the way they unfold, and we can make that announcement. Thanks for the question. There was another question in the chat from CD Unicorn. For the people who that are interested in applying for a position as Team Exchange, can you please describe the work culture? Oh boy, maybe that's one for Chris, even though I'm the operations guy.
Yeah, that's definitely your operations. Um, in terms of the culture, it's always we put our employees first, right? It's all about the employees and taking care of everybody. And we're strong believers of work life balance. We're all family men here, family men, women, and it's all about having that strong work life balance and keeping that positive mentality, right? So overall, the work culture here, we're very laid back, but we're very focused, right? Laid back in the sense that we understand what we need to get done, but at the end of the day, it's more of a family, right? So we're laid back from that perspective, but it's all about business here, right? So work life balance, that's what we promote through and through.
Hey guys, I have a question.
Hey,
Yeah,
Waleed, how are you?
You guys hear me?
Yep. How are you?
Of course.
Hello?
Waleed, we hear you, bro.
Yeah, how you doing, guys? How are you?
Good,
Yeah,
good. How are you?
yeah, because I'm in a bad connection. So I'm driving. Sorry about that. Yeah, great job, guys. You're doing great. Actually, with this like Yahoo Finance thing and all this stuff you guys doing, so in the right direction for sure. But my main question is: are you guys gonna hire the mod squad to mod the chat and the launch day?
That's a good question. That's a question for Pete, maybe. So Pete, do you want to answer that one?
It hasn't been addressed or brought to my attention. So at this
Okay,
present time, no.
Low, for the record, you are unmuted.
Yeah, I hope that answered your question, Wally.
yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your question, Waleed. Any other questions you have before we move on to a couple more questions from the chat? Come on, guys, don't be shy. You can ask anything. There's no such thing as a bad question.
As you can see by Waleed's question.
That was a great question. That's definitely something we need to consider, right? So having a team that's with us during the launch and making sure that the chat is clean and messaging comes across. So that's definitely a good question.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
I
here's
guess let's
another question.
let's take one from the. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
we'll do one more from the chat because it's a good question, and it was asked in the previous launch as well, and it continues to be asked. So let's just address this. So, can Steam Exchange be put on a cold storage? The answer is yes. So you can put Steam Exchange on a cold storage. I do recommend reaching out to one of the core team members, if you would like to do that, because there are some things to consider, such as fees and taxes. So if you are going to be moving your holdings to a cold storage, just let us know, and we will make sure that it works out for you in the best possible way. Cool. So last call. Any more questions before we wrap it up? Awesome. Okay. So we'll keep the chat open just for a casual conversation. And if any other questions do come to light, just feel free to ask during that session. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and take care. See you next week.
Thank you, everybody. So we're gonna shut this down right now, and we'll open live again. No video, just voice chat. Okay, guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Choo choo.